Hey everybody! So we have been talking about vendor shows and I'm here to continue talking about vendor shows. So usually one of the things that makes people most nervous about attending a vendor show with Chalk Couture products is, what do you say? So I figured I would show you what we say. So I always have at my table, I have this is one of the old 10-inch double-sided just chalkboard things. If you don't have this one, you can use your 5x7. And the reason that I recommend this is because it's chalkboard all the way around instead of your Aiden, which has a really, really pretty nice frame that I have ruined my very first one because I stained it in my hurry to show all the demos. So it's up to you, but I recommend something that is frameless. It's going to be easier to just demo really fast. So I have that board. I always have multiple of the minis because being at a vendor show table, you don't have access to like a good sink to wash them. You don't do a great job. If you go to a vendor show, you're going to destroy these. Be prepared. And then a jar of paste. You also use either your fine mist spray bottle and a board eraser, which, by the way, I keep in a jar I don't have. And I take one of my empty paste jars, once I've finished all the paste, of course, wash it out, and then your board eraser fits inside so you can keep it wet and store it and all of that goodness right inside there. So I will have my board eraser and water bottle, or depending on how close I am to actual water or not, I'll use water wipes to clean the transfers. They have to be pure water. We're at a vendor show. We're sitting at our table and somebody comes up and they're just, you exchange pleasantries and all that. And I'm standing at this point too, by the way, but my camera is not standing. So somebody comes up to the table. Hey, how's it going? Beautiful day, right? And they're looking over your stuff. Have you ever heard of Chalk Couture? And they kind of look at you, and you'll usually get one of two responses. Yes, I've seen it on Facebook. Or, no, I've never heard of it. So let's start with the no, I've never heard of it. Oh, really? Well, can I tell you a little bit about it? And usually they'll give you the permission. If they say no, thank you, great. You know what? That's okay. I totally get it. Here's my card in case you have any questions later, and when this pops back into your mind. If they say sure, then that's when this comes in. So we use these adhesive silk screen transfers, a stencil, and they're reusable. We love that. They wash up with just water. You simply peel it off the backing paper, stick it wherever you want, press it down like that, and then we use just a little bit of our Chalkology paste. It is non-toxic, it's washable, again, with water, and you really don't use a lot. It looks like I have a lot, but just hang on. Just bear with me. And because our transfers are adhesive, you will get beautiful, crisp, and perfect results every time. Are you ready? And if you can, peel their side first. If you can get look at that. Look at how beautiful that is. Now this is going to dry in just a couple of minutes. And usually what I'll do, side note, usually what I will do is on the back side of this, I will have done a design earlier in the day. So I'll say this will dry in just a couple of minutes. And what's great is once it's dry, it is smudge proof. It dries hard. So it's not like school board chalk where you rub up against it and it gets all over the place. This is going to dry solid, but it still washes off with just a squirt of water. And that's when I will take my squirt of water or my water wipe, spray it down, wipe it off, and go, see, it's just that easy. And by then, this, if you're outside, will probably have dried. And there you go. So usually that's when they kind of go, wow, that's crazy, that's amazing. And then they'll start looking at more stuff. So at that point, that's when you can ask them about their craftiness. I don't know, normal people conversation stuff. My brain is kind of blanking on the normal people stuff, but you get the idea. Talk to a human. You're talking to a human. You've just showed them your thing. They will ask you questions if they have them. If they don't and they start to walk away, you can do what I said earlier. Hand them your card and be like, hey, if I'd love for you, if you're interested on seeing more and seeing some projects and things, come follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, join my group, I wouldn't start with join my group, but they might. Some way get in contact with them, because if they're not sticking around, they're kind of not so much interested. They might have said yes just because they are yesers. But if somebody sticks around and is like actually talking to you, talking about their favorite holiday to decorate for, a lot of people are into Halloween, so that's a great conversation. You can always morph that conversation somehow into, hey, you know what, can I get your number or your email? I can send you a couple of designs that I think you might really like. And then get their number or their email, and then send them designs that you might think they might really like. Because you've just talked to this person, right? So now you're doing this personal service, personal shopping sort of a thing. So that was the, what was that? That was the, no, I'd never heard of it. So here's what I say to people who say, I've seen it on Facebook. Because usually they don't just say, oh yeah, I've seen it on Facebook. They say, oh, I've seen it on Facebook. Big difference between those two. And if they say, oh, I've seen it on Facebook, and then I say, do you want to try it? Usually they get all like, oh, I get to try this. Well, like, listen, you've watched it online. You want to actually do it yourself? So then I'll do the exact same thing. I will tell them all the same information, narrowed down though. Like, I don't give them the whole spiel because they've already seen how it works. Now I'm just going to literally walk them through the steps and hand them the squeegee when it's time to do the squeegee. So here we go. All right. So I am so glad that you have seen how cool this is already, so I don't even have to tell you that part. All right, here's your stencil, and this I'm going to hand it to her. All right, you can put it down on the board anywhere you want. There is no wrong answer. All right, let me put it right there. All right, run your hand over it a little bit, make sure there's no bubbles, and then that's going to make sure that we have a crisp and clean design. So I've got for you jade paste. This is a really cool color. It's kind of, I'm calling it alternative Christmas because it's not quite Christmas. Okay, so that is way more paste than you'll need, but here you go. And then I usually use mini squeegees for this too, by the way, because you can control it and see it a lot better. Okay, now go to town. You've seen it on Facebook a zillion times and you cannot mess it up, I promise. And they'll be a little like, okay, but eventually they're gonna do it, and they're gonna put too much paste on, and they're gonna make a mess, and they're gonna try and hand you the squeegee back, and they say, okay, so now actually use your squeegee and pull off all the extra paste. You wanna be able to see that screen, my friend. So she's gonna go, oh, okay, all right, so I don't have to use all of that. Precisely. All right, here, and then I take the squeegee back because at this point the excitement for her is over with that part, and I'll put it back in the jar myself. Okay, it's reveal time. Peel and reveal. Let's see what you did. And she's gonna peel it up and go, oh my God, that's just as easy as it looks. And she's gonna say, oh, I went over a little bit. I'll say, that's all right, here's a board eraser. You can clean up the edge of that. Oh, look at that. See, give her the entire, you like the double-sided conversation there. You're going to give her all of the tools and let her do all of it. And now we go back in and say, isn't that great? It's so freaking easy and cool, right? That was amazing. I loved it. Blah, 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 blah. All the wonderful things everybody says about chalk. And then you can say, and look over here. Oh, don't touch it though when it's still wet. Because I forgot that it was still wet. Look over here. This one the girl before you did, and it was just a couple of minutes ago. And look, see, it dries hard. I don't know if you've ever felt the chalk paste when it was dry before. But this is what it feels like. It's kind of nice, right? It's almost like a paint, but it will wash up. And then I'll erase it in front of her, just like I did for everybody else. Because I think, personally, to me, that's one of the coolest things, is that I can reuse this same surface, which is why I leave an old one on there so I can wash it off after whoever goes by. And that is how we sell our boards, too. So that's how we sell the Chalk Couture chalkboards and get our PV. Not too terribly scary, right, guys? And, that whole spiel, it becomes easier and easier and easier the more you do it. You can practice at home. You will feel like a fool. I know. But it is worth it, because the more you can let that just roll and it just automatically comes out of you, you'll be able to watch your customer. You'll be able to see the moments in your chalk where they raise an eyebrow, or that was both of them, but where they become attentive, because that is what you continue your conversation talking to them about. If you show them that it can be washed off, and that's when they're like, oh. You can say, yeah, so I have chalked my front door. I have chalked my mailbox. I change my window decorations with the seasons. I have one board in my living room that I leave in that spot, and I just change it every season. And it has been a lifesaver. I don't have to look for new art every single season and store it somewhere. Right? So now that conversation that comes after the demo has become all about the thing that she was interested in, instead of the thing that I love. Now that one particularly happened to be the same, but you get the idea. If she is in love with this green paste, you can talk about some of the other designs. You can talk about how this is a great alternative green color for Christmas, so that it's not the bright in your face like Kelly green. You can talk about how this is a nice farmhouse color. You can talk about some of the designs that this looks great with, like a pastel muted color palette. This would be fabulous with some dune or some camel and just kind of a sage green sort of a situation going on. Am I right? So there's lots of places in that demo to pay attention to your customers and to see exactly what they want to hear more about. And you never know. You may end up with a customer by the end of the day. So just try to get everybody's information and invite them back into your world somehow. If they only give you their text number, which I say only, that's actually, if they give you their text number, they are interested. Okay? So they're very interested, because people don't give out their phone numbers because they don't want the robocalls. So if somebody gives you their cell number, you call them the next day. You have my permission to ignore everybody else that you talked to that gave you emails. You contact that person and you say, hey, it was great to see you yesterday. I really enjoyed meeting you. Here's a quick, I don't have it near me. Quick tip. I have little info sheets that I have people fill out when, like if they want to be in my drawing, or if they want to, whatever. It's their information, their contact info. As soon as that person leaves, if you think they're even a slightly warm lead, flip that sheet over and write everything you can about them. They were interested in the paste. They were interested in the washable boards. They liked this. They have cats. They love whatever you talked about. Put it on there and then reference something from that conversation tomorrow when you talk to them. Okay? That was a little extra tip. This was supposed to just be the demo, but I know stuff and I have to tell you all of it. So anyway, that was the demo. Practice it. And guys, here's a hot tip. If you do a vendor show and you mess up talking to the first person, do not let it get you down. Notice the spot that you want to change, and then change it when the next person comes by in like 2 minutes. Vendor shows are a fantastic place to practice. You are practicing on real humans. You'll get different interactions, and it will prepare you for all of the different responses from everybody. Your brain will start working on autopilot as soon as people come to your booth, and then you're going to be able to talk to anybody. I can talk to more people at a vendor show than I can anywhere else in public. Because they're only there for a couple of minutes, right? All right, I hope this has been helpful. And if not, I'm sorry.